After her heartbreaking loss to Holly Holm in a year layoff, Ronda Rousey says she's gearing up for her UFC return December 30th against Amanda Nunes, but she's also preparing for the end. Max, this is interesting timing. How do you feel about her saying this and bringing that up ahead of her much-anticipated return?
Well, it helps the promotion. You know, if you think it's supply and demand, there's going to be less supply, the demand goes up, although there's already tremendous demand to see her. Look, it's a combat sport, and in a combat sport, there's some who would say if you're even thinking about retirement, you're already done, you should hang it up. But certainly if you see the end is drawing near, don't hang around too long. And she has options. She has other things she can do. I think history, if that's the case, will record her in MMA the way that Jack Dempsey has been recorded in boxing, who was a trailblazing heavyweight and attacking fighter, who was, Teddy Atlas once described Mike Tyson this way. He was a shooting star, not a planet, not a star. He's something that shone more brightly than any other object in the sky for a little while and then burnt out, as opposed to kind of like a fixed star in a constellation. That was Dempsey, that was Mike Tyson, and that's Ronda Rousey, a trailblazer, the biggest star in the planet in her profession and one of the biggest in the world anyway. But if this is true, someone who didn't adjust very well to be no longer being invincible. You know, all that said, if she's feeling like it's getting close to the end, then she should get out.
How can I put this? I can't disagree with what you said. I don't like it. Here's what I don't like, and I want to preface my comments by saying I not only respect the hell out of Ronda Rousey, I am a fan. I'm a fan of her as a fighter. I'm a fan of her as a person. I've met her. She seems to be a wonderful, wonderful person. And as a fighter, she was a badass. There's no doubt about it. Here's what I don't like about it. Whether you win or lose, she talked about winning. She talked about being a role model. She talked about all of these things. When she was knocking people out or, you know, or you know, forcing them to submit and finishing them off in 6 of her 12 consecutive wins in the first round, okay? She was doing all of that, and she was talking about all of those things. The second she lost, there was a while where you couldn't find her. Then she went on Ellen DeGeneres' show, who's the best. I love me some Ellen DeGeneres, okay? And then so she goes on the show, and she seriously talks about how she wanted to just die because she felt bad. So is that about losing, or is that about losing the mystique and the image that you worked so hard to create? What I'm trying to say is that wanting to walk away, it's like it's not consistent with who you've promoted yourself to be. It's not, you went through a lot of adversity to get to where you were. And so now, the first time in your career that you lose, all of a sudden you want to bow out.
This happens to dominant offensive fighters in particular.
Yeah.
Jack Dempsey lost to Gene Tunney, lost a rematch. He was done. Had a fight with Sharkey in between. Mike Tyson was never the same after Buster Douglas. George Foreman lost to Ali.
But he fought.
George Foreman lost to Ali, lost another fight, retired for 10 years.
But he fought. Yeah. He fought. And I'm saying Mike Tyson was still around because Mike Tyson was able to come back and go through more adversity. It got worse for him, but he was willing to go through that. You, Ronda Rousey, you go back and you lose to Holly Holm. Okay, you lost to a better fighter. But not to fight at all against that opponent.
No,
that's not wrong, but in combat sports, if you think you're done, get out.
I liked your argument about maybe it was to sell fights, but for some reason I feel like it's coming across she's just not that into it. It's the First Take Your Take viewer contest, and you can win a chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television. All you have to do is go to firstTakeYourTake.com, upload a 1-minute video with your best original sports debate. Keep it clean, plus no music, team logos, trademarks, or copyright material. 2 winners will be selected by our show staff, so get to work. We could see you guys right here schooling these 2 in Bristol, Connecticut. Let's check out some of the latest submissions with Greg Jennings here.
The debate is over. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and it's been that way since February 1st, 2015, when he won his 4th Super Bowl. He's top 5 in touchdowns, passer rating, passing yards. That's all ahead of Joe Montana.
Where was Joe Montana at the age of 39? The answer to that question is retired. Tom Brady is setting an unprecedented level of play at the quarterback position at the age of 39.
Tom Brady's a health freak. He eats avocado ice cream as a snack, red meats during cold months, raw foods during warm months. He doesn't lift weights. He uses resistant bands. He goes to bed 8:30 every night. He plays mind games literally to increase the speed of his brain and his peripheral vision. He has built Belichick as a head coach who's only going to put Tom Terrific in a position to succeed.
I like that last guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I liked him a lot. I only have one issue. I mean, where are the ladies? I haven't seen ladies in the last couple of days.
You're right.
I'm all about the
and
people.
they bring it.
I'm all about the
The
people.
dude in the middle
ladies
was
have
like-
been
I'm all
bringing
about the
it.
people.
The dude in the middle is
And
like out of the cast of The Departed or something.
Remember, let me remind our audience, we're having both a male and female winner.
Yes.
Okay, it ain't just one.
There you go.
It's a male and a
Any tips?
female.
I submitted my video.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good video.
Your
I
video was
think,
good.
I mean, those are all valid statistics that they gave. I mean, no, I don't.
It's about presentation and delivery, too.
Okay, there we
It's all
go.
of that.
He wants a little
There
more
we go.
flavor.
A little
You
flavor.
definitely got to
Little
have a
flavor.
little more flavor.
Gotta have it.
A lot more.
I think
But again,
I'll have to start watching more, but those were like, I'm sure they're good, but I'm sure we can get better.
Yes.
All right, we'll leave it there. Let's get into our next topic here. We're at the halfway point in the season. The Raiders are the only team with 2 receivers in the top 12 in receiving yards. That would be Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree. Greg Jennings, you know a little something about receivers. Do you think the Raiders right now have the best wide receiver combo in the entire league?
I think right now, to date, they're performing the best.
Okay.
If you look at statistics and if you look at production, yes. And honestly, I felt like last year they were starting to hit their stride at the end of the year. But I think it all boils down to, again, here we go, the receiver and the quarterback. I think when you have such a young quarterback in a Derek Carr who really relies on these guys to make plays for him, and they have done just that, they have nothing to lose. So they go, if you watch them play, they play like backstreet football almost. They don't really care. Derek Carr doesn't care about throwing the interception. They don't care about him throwing the interception. Just throw it up. Give us a chance and an opportunity to make a play. That's going to get the best out of any receiver, especially when they have the talent that these 2 young men have.
I think the Raiders are actually an average-ish team. If you look at the point differential, it's plus 12. But that's because their defense is terrible.
Right.
Their offense is awesome. Like, if you're just going to look at them at the offensive side of the ball, they're awesome. They have a great O-line. It's the top 5 or 6 O-line in the league, along all the different, pass blocking, rumble, whatever it is you want to look at. They are an elite offensive line. They have a great young quarterback who can do a lot of things. They got a deep receiving core, at least deep, the top 3 names.
Right.
Plus, if you want to include tight end. If you look at just receivers, just the receiver position, right? The X, the Y, the Z. The New York Giants have the 3 guys. I know I'm a Giants fan. A lot of Giants propaganda. However,
this is valid.
However, I haven't argued that a guy's the best in the league on the Giants, period, since LT, right? Odell Beckham, to me, is a different kind of cat. He's different than everybody else. And then you got Shepard. Now, his yards per catch have gone way down, mainly because the Giants' O-line's been so bad, the guys can't even get into their routes. And Eli has also not been extremely accurate this year, for the most part. But you look at that as a 1-2, and Victor Cruz isn't what he was. But he's your number 3 option among your receivers. If you're just talking about 1, 2, 3, I like those 3 guys.
I'm on Oakland's side. I think Crabtree has reminded us all. He lost a little bit of his luster when he was in the NFC Championship game against Seattle a few years back, and Richard Sherman blocked the pass, got in his face, and everybody was talking about how Richard Sherman basically had him under lock and key, and that sort of diminished his shine. What we did was diminish him instead of appreciate and celebrate the greatness of Richard Sherman and what he is capable of doing. But along the way, as the couple of years have progressed, we now recognize and give Richard Sherman his due props. But we forget that Crabtree deserves his as well. And so what I'm saying is, when you look at a guy like Crabtree, they've connected on 62% of the times that he's been targeted from Derek Carr. You look at Amari Cooper, an absolute stud, and only his second year in the league. 65% of the times he's targeted. There's a connection there. This brother gets open. Seth Roberts is not bad. He's impressive. Only 50% of the time. I'm thinking, I understand that Odell Beckham Jr. is on another level. But he's been temperamental. Of the 70 times he's been targeted, they've only connected 40% of the time. Yes, that's on Eli sometimes. Sometimes that might be on him. It might be route running. It might be the fact that you bumping him a little bit, getting a bit physical with him because he's miniature, he's small, etc., etc. He's getting a bit frustrated etc. All of those things factor into the equation. Do you ever hear a peep out of Amari Cooper? Nope. Do you ever hear a peep out of Michael Crabtree? No. They're models of consistency. They're models of professionalism. And Derek Carr is looking better than Eli Manning right now. So I'm telling you, Crabtree and Cooper, to me, a legitimate argument could be made that they are the most elite duo at the wide receivers line in the NFL right now.
I think a lot of that's O-line and quarterback, too, although they're excellent. I want to just quickly...
They're getting open, though.
And you could speak to this. The branding of players in people's mind is a big thing. When Richard Sherman said he's mediocre, right? Wasn't that Crabtree? He said he was mediocre. That diminished him in a lot of people's minds. Crabtree was a big deal coming out. And then it was like, well, he's okay. He's not... And once that mediocre thing got put on him, I think it diminished his brand as a receiver. But, you know, enough patience, and his brand's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, here's my thing with Crabtree. I don't think that he's ever been a mediocre receiver. I think he's had mediocre play at quarterback. I mean, when you look at who was throwing in the ball, he's never really had a legitimate quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Colin Kaepernick, he was great. He was a great splash. But he's not a great quarterback. He's a run-first quarterback. He didn't fit Michael's Crabtree style of play. Now you have a Derek Carr throwing him the ball with, as you alluded to, an exceptional offensive line. They're going to get it done every time. I'll touch this point about Odell Beckham and Sterling Shepard. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought he was going to be one of the best young rookie receivers that played this year. With having said that, I think Odell... He's when you look at leveling out the playing fields and balancing each other out, he's carrying so much load and so much weight. He's getting so much attention and so many more opportunities that we only see Odell. No one really sees Sterling Shepard. But when you look on the other side and you see Oakland, you see Amari, you see Michael, you see these guys like back and forth, and that's when you're balanced. That's when you know your quarterback. Man, I have salt, pepper. I can dish it anywhere.
And it's not just that, Greg. I think people are making the mistake of assuming it's just your offensive line. It's not like Derek Carr is sitting in the pocket taking pictures and calling this woman and all that. Listen, these dudes are getting open.
Absolutely.
They're getting open.
I like this debate. It's a good one, but
Giants have no time to get open, but all right.
It's a toss-up. We'll leave it there.
That changes.
You're just salty about Colin Kaepernick.
You know who I'm with. G-Man. Greg, thank you so much for being with us.
Good job.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, Packer fans, man, I love Aaron Rodgers.
Send us some more videos, would you? Those are good.
It's all right to have them on your back.
Yeah, Stephen A., get off his back. What's the matter with you?
It's all right to have them on your back. Tell them to kick rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, there's some they gonna love you, some of them gonna hate you. So what?
That's the way
so
life
what?
goes.
Suck it up.
That's the way life
You gonna do this, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? What comes with it?